Hey guys, hello and welcome to Naveed for Speed. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you around this car right here, or this truck rather. It's the KGM Musso. Now you might already be familiar with the SsangYong Musso. So what is the KGM Musso? Well, a few years ago, the KG Global Group acquired SsangYong Motors and they renamed the brand to KG Mobility. So that's why we have the KGM Musso. The Musso was obviously passed over from SsangYong, and you might already be familiar with the Musso. That name Musso means rhino in Korean, and it just goes to show, it shows the value of this car, that sort of tough, rugged, outdoor lifestyle that you can get with this particular truck. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you around the exterior of the car, I'm going to be showing you around the interior of the car, and then I'm going to take it out on the road to show you exactly what it feels like out there, because this car is marketed as a multi-purpose vehicle. So that means you can use this car off-road, or you can use it as a workhorse, and you can also use it for everyday life, for family life as well, because you'll see that it has some sort of comfort in there. It's got like contemporary feel. It's, you know, it's really nice to be in there. But let me tell you a little bit about the powertrain. So you can get this car with a 2.2 litre diesel inline-4 engine, and in the entry-level EX version you get that with a 6-speed manual gearbox that produces 202 horsepower and 400 newton meters of torque. If you go for one of the higher specs, the Rebel, the Saracen, or the Saracen Plus version of this car, then you get a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and that produces 202 horsepower but 441 newton meters of torque. So it's got a decent amount of torque to get yourself out of quite literally some slippery situations, and it's got enough power out there on the road to get a bit of a move on. I'll show you what it feels like when we take it out there on the road. Now, the particular car that I have is none of those specs that I mentioned, because this particular version is a limited edition version. It's called the Saracen Platinum. It's there to celebrate, it was created to celebrate 70 years of the brand, and they're only making 70 of these. And the one that I have is number 1 of 70. So as I take you around the exterior of the car, I'll show you some of the features that come with the different specs of the Musso anyway, but I'll also show you some of the different features that you get with this particular limited edition version of the car. So let's go to the front of the car, where I want to briefly talk about this large front grille that you get in this grey color with this patterned texture in there. I think it looks really cool, contrasting with the grand white color. Now this color is the standard color that you can get across the different specs of the car, and it's one of the 2 colors that you get in this Platinum limited edition version. You get it in this grand white color or a gray color as well, but in the standard versions of the car you can add different colors as an optional extra. You've got colors like Amazon green and Indian red. I think they look really cool. But this particular white color is really nice as it contrasts with the gray parts of the car and the black parts of the car. I'll show you more of those around the side of the car. But you've also got sort of chrome features in here, and you can see this chrome SsangYong badge as well. That's not changed, just the name has changed. Let me take you down to the bottom over here, because under here you can see this skid plate which says Musso in there. I think that looks really cool. That is a feature of this Platinum limited edition version of the car. That's one of the features that you get for your money. I think it looks really cool, and it feels quite tough as well. Let's go towards the side of the car, because another feature that you get in this limited edition Platinum version are these wheel arches. Now I think these wheel arches look really cool, give this car more of a wider stance, give it more of that presence, but they contrast really well with the rest of the car, with the rest of the paintwork. Now, this particular car, I was parked next to a Tesla Model 3, and the owner jokingly said, "This thing looks like a tank, it can probably run my car over." That is a bit of an exaggeration, but it just goes to show the sort of large presence that this car has. And I'll tell you a little bit about the dimensions of the car. But before I do, let me tell you about these alloy wheels. Now you can see these 18-inch black alloy wheels. I think they look really cool. They come as standard in the Saracen and the Saracen Plus versions of the car, and of course this limited edition version of the car. But if you get the entry-level EX version or the Rebel version, you still get 18-inch alloy wheels, but you get them in a silver color. And you can see these are on these Maxxis all-terrain tires, and I think that looks really cool, and it should give this car more of an off-roading ability. Let me show you more around the side of the car, because you've got contrasting black door handles. You get these again in the higher specs of the car, in the lower specs of the car, you get body color door handles. I like the side step that you get. Again, you get that in the higher specs of the car. I think it looks really cool. It's quite wide, easy to stand on. You know, it's not, you know, sometimes I find some side steps are quite thin. This one's really nice and wide. I really do like that. You also get roof rails in some of the higher specs of the car. These roof rails do add about 3 inches to the height of the car, but they could be quite useful for storing things on top. And in this Platinum version, you get stickers just to show that your car's that little bit more special. Now, let me tell you about the dimensions of this car, because it's over 5 meters long. It's 509 centimeters long, and the wheelbase is 3 meters and 10 centimeters. Now, of course, if you go for a Saracen Plus version of the car, then you get a longer load bed, and you get a longer car, and you get a longer wheelbase. I think it's just under 5.5 meters long for the Saracen Plus version, and the wheelbase is around just over 3 meters and 20 centimeters. So quite a long car. But inside, that should mean you get a load of space as well, and it should also mean you get a load of space and the rear truck bed as well. Talking about the rear truck bed, let's make our way back here, because before we get there, I want to talk about these sports bars that look strong, feel strong, make the car look strong as well. They come in this powder coated finish, so this shouldn't get a rust on them. These are part of the Platinum limited edition version. They're one of the features that you get in that, and I think they just make the car just look that little bit more special. But let's go towards the back of the car, because I want to show you this back area here, because when it comes to pickup trucks, I've noticed a lot of them, like Isuzus and some Mercedes, would have a step back here, and you don't get that in this particular car. And I think that's a bit of a shame, because it's quite useful for being able to see into the car. But let me open this rear truck bed, and I'm going to show you another feature that is unique to this Platinum version, which is this roll top roof. I just have to pull the key out for it, because you've got this remote over here that you get with the car, and all you do is you press the button on there, and it can automatically open, and you can stop it wherever you like, and you can keep it going. But if you come closer, you can also see those lights over there as well, which I can turn on and off using the remote. I think that's really cool. Quite strong actually at night, those lights are, but it means that you can see everything that you need to see here in this rear truck bed. So this rear truck bed dimensions are around 1.5 meters width, 1.3 meters length, and just about 57 centimeters height. So you've got a decent amount of space back here, and obviously if you go for the Saracen Plus version, it's even longer than that. So you've got loads of space. But crucially, what KGM have done here is they've made the truck bed the perfect size so that you could fit a Euro pallet. So let me show you around the interior of the KGM Musso. Now you might be wondering, I'm wearing different clothes. And that's because when I shot this video yesterday, when I did the interior section of this video, I went home and I checked that video, and it turned out I didn't have any audio. So here I am. I'm going to quickly try and show you around the interior before we go back to that video where I take the car out to drive. Now, the interior of the KGM Musso is actually pretty nice. It seems quite modern, quite contemporary. It should be comfortable. That's why it's supposed to offer you that multi-purpose driving experience. But let me start with these seats, because I do like these seats. These seats in this Saracen version, or the Saracen Premium version, they are Napa leather seats, heated and ventilated in the front. You get heated and ventilated front seats in the Saracen version and the Rebel version, but in the Rebel version, you don't get Napa leather, you just get ordinary leather. In the entry-level EX version, you get fabric seats, which are height adjustable, but in the Saracen version you get electronically adjustable seats, so you can move them in a load of different ways and adjust it to your specific driving position. You also get lumbar support in the Saracen versions of this car. The rest of the interior, let me tell you about the steering wheel. So the steering wheel comes with this leather, perforated leather, heated steering wheel. Feels really nice to use. You've got these buttons on the front of it. Of course, you've got electronic cruise control in the Saracen versions of the truck. So, you know, that's just that little bit more convenience when you're out on the road. I do want to mention this 12.3-inch screen over here for your infotainment system. So this 12.3-inch screen you get in the Rebel version of the car and above, so the Rebel and the Saracen versions. And in the Saracen version you get TomTom navigation, but crucially you get in all versions of the car DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. And if you go for the Rebel version out above, you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now it is quite responsive. I do quite like this screen because it's rather dark. It's got this dark theme on it, which I suppose in lighting like this during the day might be a little bit more difficult to see, but at night it is perfect. It doesn't blind you, and I really quite like that. I don't know if that's suited for most people, but I quite like it to be dark because I don't want to be blinded in the night. Although if I do click on the satellite navigation, now it suddenly goes quite bright. So the satellite navigation is bright, but the rest of the screen is quite dark. Talking about screens, I want to mention this driver display that you get in front of you. So if you go for the entry-level EX version or the Rebel version, you get a 3.5-inch LCD screen that shows you some information. But if you go for a Saracen version, one of the Saracen versions, you get this 12.3-inch digital display, which I think is really crisp. It gives you loads of different information. You can switch through, check your tire pressures. It's all there in front of you. And of course, it's got your fuel gauge, it's got temperature gauge, it's got all the stuff that you need at the bottom. That's really handy, really useful. The rest of the interior, you'll notice, has loads of different materials. You got your plastics, your soft plastics, your leather. You got, at the bottom, you got scratchy plastics. But I think it all comes really well together in this sort of really dark black theme. Quite comfortable, quite calming, I think, and especially at night, nothing too bold. I do want to mention, however, this climate control down here, this panel that you get. So with this panel, you can change your settings as to the temperature. You do get this sort of feedback noise over here, but it is touch sensitive. But you'll have noticed in the Saracen version, you get dual zone climate control, and it's automatic climate control as well. So you can set it to, automatically, and the driver and the passenger can have different temperatures as well. If you go for the lower specs, it's manual air conditioning. So you get automatic here, and of course you don't get that dual zone climate control. But it's really nice to have on this panel that's separate to the infotainment screen as well. You also get heated and ventilated seats in the Saracen versions and the Rebel versions, and I do quite like these seats. These seats are comfortable enough that they keep you, I mean, I suppose I've got the lumbar support in the Saracen version, but they don't hug you, they don't constrict you, they're not, they're not quite tight. You've got loads of room in this car. You've got loads of shoulder room, you've got loads of hip room, you've got plenty of room. And I'll just quickly show you the rear cabin because there's a decent amount of room there too. So let me tell you about the rear seats very quickly, because back here in the Saracen and Saracen Plus and Saracen Premium versions, you get rear heated seats, which I think is really convenient and really useful for passengers back here. You also get rear privacy glass back here, so there's a bit of a tint in the window, but crucially, there is still a decent amount of light coming in through the window. Loads of headroom, decent amount of leg room. I mean, I'm just under 6 foot. I've got a decent amount of legroom, and this is with the front passenger seat a little bit further back. So I think I'm actually quite impressed with that. You don't get that much of a transmission tunnel. Obviously, with this being a pickup truck, it's got this sort of slightly higher ride height anyway. So you can sit 3 passengers easily. I don't think I would be that uncomfortable as a middle passenger, although I am feeling a bit of a bump back here. Yeah, and obviously the middle seat is not heated. You also get, if I just pull this out from here, how do I get this out? There we are. You get cup holders back here. So if you've got 2 passengers back here, they are going to be really comfortable. So let me tell you what it feels like to drive the KGM Musso. But before I do want to mention a couple more things about this Platinum version of the car. If you buy the Platinum version, because it's numbered up to 70, you get a little plaque in the center console which tells you what number your car is. This particular one is number 1 of 70, so it just makes you feel that little bit more special. And you also get a keyring that tells you what number your car is, so if you want to show other people as well, that's really quite cool. But anyway, let me tell you exactly what this car feels like, because I am out in the Yorkshire countryside on these nice flowy roads. There's some slight bumps in the road, so I'll tell you exactly what it feels like. What I'm feeling is, I'm feeling a nice floaty ride, to be honest. I'm not, I mean, now that I've come to a bit more of a slower road, you can feel some of those bumps, but generally at higher speeds, you don't feel much of those bumps. And of course, this car is built to withstand more than just bumps like this. It's built to go off-road. The seats, I'm not feeling a lot of bumps coming through the seats, a lot of vibrations coming through the seats. The seats are quite soft and cushiony. I quite like that. There's loads of room as well. They don't hug you, they don't constrain you, they don't squeeze you, they don't keep you into place. They're just there. They give you loads of room. I've got loads of shoulder room. I've got loads of room to move about, but it's not that uncomfortable that I am moving about. Of course, if I take this car off-road, that might be slightly different. But for now, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling comfortable. I feel like I can do loads of miles in this, and I have already done loads of miles in this already. So I really quite like that. In the higher spec versions of the car, you get speed dependent progressive steering. So if you are driving faster, the car won't be that twitchy, and the steering wheel feels quite good. It's quite direct. I get decent amount of feedback in there. I know exactly which way my wheels are turning, which is quite useful in an off-road car, because you need to know which way your wheels are turning. And it just feels like a pleasant drive. So I quite like that. Let me tell you about visibility. Visibility all round is actually quite good because it's a pickup truck. You've got the rear window, which is right behind the rear passengers. So you got good visibility out there, out the sides, out the front, decent visibility, big side mirrors. I quite like that. But you're sat quite high up, and I really quite like that, because I was sat in traffic on one particular day, and I was sat at the same height as passengers on a bus next to me. So you are sat quite high up. You can see over all the traffic, and when you're driving over a bridge or you're driving along the countryside, you can see over the walls, or you can see over the fence. You can get a really nice view. I mean, these hedges over here, normally in most cars I can't see over them. I can see over them, and I can see all the sheep that are back there. So it's really quite cool that you get that really nice ride height. Let me tell you about I do want to very quickly mention the rear reversing camera, which is pointed down towards the trailer hitch, the tow bar, the tow bar, rather than pointing backwards, because you're not necessarily using the reversing camera to reverse long distances. You want to know what that reversing camera is like. You want to know what the distance between you and whatever you're reversing into is like. And of course, it's really useful when you want to hitch up a trailer, just to be able to position that rear tow bar in the right place so that you can do that. Good thinking, that is, I think. I quite like just the way that this car feels, the way it looks from the outside, the ability that it has, and the way that you're feeling inside, because with this heated seats, heated steering wheel, which I haven't got on at the moment, but I have had on, it's just a pleasant place to be. Let me tell you a little bit about fuel economy. So, depending on which version of the car you get, the fuel economy is slightly different. If you get the entry-level EX version, then you can expect a combined fuel economy of around 34 miles per gallon. In this particular version, which is the equivalent of a Saracen version of the car, you get about 31 miles per gallon combined. Around the city, I've been driving this car, I've been getting low 20s. Literally, we're talking 20 or 21 miles per gallon. On the motorway, on 50-mile-an-hour roads as well, you can expect mid-30s I've been getting. So if we combine them together, a mixture of motorway driving and a mixture of city driving, I think you can get close to 30 miles per gallon. And I think that's pretty reasonable, considering this is a 2-ton car. It weighs over 2 tons. Again, it depends on which version of the car that you get. We just passed a caravan there, and you might have noticed that I had to slow down a little bit because this is a reasonably wide car. It's 1.95 meters wide. So it is a wide car, and you definitely do feel that when you're driving around the city, when you're passing other cars, when there are cars parked on the side of the road, you do feel that. But it's not that difficult to maneuver the car, especially if you're going around car parks, for example. It has an 11.8 meter turning circle, so it's easy to maneuver, it's easy to drive, it's comfortable. What more can you ask for? Let me tell you about the price of this car, because if you go for the entry-level EX version, then it costs just over £27,000. If you go for the Rebel version, we're talking just over £31,000. The Saracen version is just over £34,000. And if you go for the Saracen Plus, which is basically a Saracen, but it's got a longer load bed, it's got a longer wheelbase, it's just a longer car in general, that particular version costs just over £35,500. This limited edition version is based off the Saracen, so it's got the regular size load bed. It's still 5.9 meters, well, no, 5.09 meters in length. This particular version costs around £35,000. So I think that all those prices, bear in mind, are before VAT. You can, if you're buying this as a private vehicle, then you can add on VAT to that. Now, talking about VAT and talking about tax in general, of course, by the time this video comes out, we've got new tax laws that have come into place, which means that you are going to be paying more tax on double cab pickups like this. So what that I would imagine means is these are going to become a little bit less favorable, and we're probably going to see less new versions of this car or these cars on the road, which I think is a shame, because these cars offer a lot of practicality, particularly for a lot of people that need it. If you need a truck that can carry stuff like pallets, and you also want to use it for family life at home, these have been the perfect kind of cars. The cars like this, Isuzus, I've seen a lot of Mitsubishis, you know, all that sort of stuff. If you need that practicality, then these have been perfect. But I think that is it's a shame that that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But anyway, I really like this car. I quite enjoy driving it around the city, and I quite enjoy driving it on the motorway. I hope it'll be just as good off-road as well. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this particular car, of the KGM Musso, of the sort of progress that the Musso has had since we first saw it, to become this refined vehicle that we have now, this interior based on the Rexton. And of course, KGM brand as a whole, they've got the Action coming as well. Well, it's already been revealed. I would like to drive that car soon, so if I do, I will let you know exactly what that is like. KGM are working a lot on electrification as well, so there's a lot to expect from this brand, and I think that's really quite good that we're seeing more and more of this brand here in the UK. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you on the next video, and thank you and take care.